Jesus already gave us the key, but most believers walk around as if he never said a word. That's the truth nobody wants to admit. While millions chase prophecies, timelines, and viral theories about the rapture, they completely overlook the one thing Jesus explicitly revealed. It wasn't hidden in a mystery code or locked away in Revelation. It was spoken plainly by the Son of God himself, and yet most ignored it. Here's the twist that changes everything. The rapture timeline isn't a secret puzzle, it's a divine sequence. And Jesus didn't leave us guessing. He gave the key in his own words, clear, accessible, powerful. But the reason people miss it is because it's not wrapped in spectacle. It's quiet, it's spiritual, and it demands something more than curiosity. It demands transformation. This key isn't just theological. It redefines where we are, what's coming next, and whether or not we'll be ready. That's why, in this video, I'm not going to give you another theory. I'm going to show you the exact moment Jesus handed us the key to the rapture timeline, and why ignoring it could be the most dangerous spiritual mistake of your life. If you're tired of confusion and ready for clarity, this is for you. Because once you see what Jesus actually gave us, you'll never look at the end times the same way again. How many times have you found yourself diving into videos, sermons, and studies, trying to explain, step by step, the sequence of end times events? It's like trying to put together a puzzle with pieces from different boxes. A lot of people look at Matthew, Revelation, Daniel, trying to cross-reference dates, signs, seals, and trumpets, and in the end, they're more confused than before. It seems like the more you try to understand the rapture timeline, the more it slips through your fingers. And the worst part? This has made many people discouraged, or even start doubting everything. This frantic attempt to link scattered scriptures has a dangerous side effect: spiritual distraction. Instead of preparing the heart, people get stuck in theories. Anxiety replaces watchfulness. Have you heard someone say, "You just can't know the exact order"? That comes from this confusion. And subtly, this chase for grand signs pulls us away from what really matters. The essential gets lost in the middle of so many interpretations and prophetic charts. Now think with me. Would Jesus, the master of all, leave such a critical topic scattered like pieces on a game board? Of course not. The problem is that many are looking for answers in the wrong place. It's like trying to understand a book by starting at the last page and skipping the middle chapters. Jesus didn't leave us with a puzzle. He gave us a key, and that key is hidden, where few have the eyes to see. This key isn't coded in ancient languages, and it doesn't rely on astronomical calculations or wild theories. It's in the simple, direct words of Christ himself. But because it seems too simple, most people miss it entirely. Yet, those with spiritual ears will recognize the power hidden in this revelation. And that's exactly what we're about to unpack now. If Jesus left us a key to the end times timeline, where exactly is it? The answer is surprisingly close, right in his own words. In passages like Matthew 24, Luke 17, and the parable of the 10 virgins, he doesn't give a scattered puzzle, but a sequential flow. It starts with vigilance, moves into separation, and ends with manifestation. This isn't random, it's intentional. He's not just speaking parables. He's revealing a prophetic map in plain sight. Let's take the parable of the virgins, for example. 10 waited, but only 5 were ready. The call wasn't about oil or lamps, it was about vigilance. Those who stayed awake, alert, prepared, they were the ones who entered. This is the first step: watchfulness. And from there, Jesus makes it clear that a separation always follows. just like in Luke 17. One will be taken, the other left. That moment of division only happens after vigilance is either practiced or neglected. Once that separation occurs, then comes the final piece, manifestation, the return of the Son of Man, the revealing of his glory, and the fulfillment of the promise. See the order. It's not built on speculation or mysterious codes. It's embedded in Jesus' pattern. He gave us a progression that, once understood, makes everything else fall into place. It's like finally having the legend to a complex map. And yet this key lies buried under sermons that focus only on wars, disasters, or political chaos. But those are the effects, not the structure. The structure is spiritual. When you read the words of Jesus through this lens, vigilance, separation, manifestation, it suddenly aligns what once felt scattered. And now, the question is, if the key is this clear, why do so many still miss it? Why do so many believers miss this key, even when it's right there in the words of Jesus? The answer isn't always rebellion. It's often tradition. Many were taught to read the Bible in fragments, following human commentaries instead of divine patterns. Over time, this created a culture where people listen for what they've always heard, not for what Jesus actually said. When something challenges their familiar view, they brush it off as too simple or not deep enough, missing the depth that simplicity often carries. Then there's the problem of distraction. In a world buzzing with news of wars, politics, and natural disasters, it's easy to get swept away by the noise. Christians today spend more time analyzing headlines than examining their own hearts. The enemy knows he doesn't have to destroy you, he just has to keep you distracted. And what better way than to make you focus on the symptoms instead of the spiritual structure Jesus outlined? Religious culture doesn't help much either. Many preachers emphasize what's loud and visible: blood moons, geopolitical shifts, conspiracy theories, because that's what gets attention. But the deeper truths, the hidden patterns Jesus gave, they don't make for viral clips or dramatic headlines. So they're often left untouched, buried under layers of noise. And that silence is exactly what makes millions unprepared. That's the danger. Not just ignorance, but comfortable ignorance. People assume they're ready because they know the signs, but they've never aligned with the key Jesus gave. And if you miss the key, you misread the timeline. You might know the events, but not the order, not the urgency, not the personal call. And that's where everything starts to unravel. Without the key that Jesus gave, the end times timeline feels like trying to navigate a maze in the dark. Many believers bounce between passages in Revelation, Daniel, Thessalonians, and the Gospels, trying to piece together an order that was never meant to be built that way. The result? Endless debates, charts, and theories that leave people more confused than confident. But when you bring in the key, vigilance arrow, separation arrow, manifestation, it's like turning the lights on in that maze. Suddenly, the path is there, clearly laid out by the one who is the Alpha and the Omega. It's not just about knowing what will happen, but how it unfolds, step by step. What makes this key so powerful is that it doesn't introduce new signs. It reorganizes and reveals the true order of the ones already given. For example, when Jesus said in Matthew 24 that because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, that's not just a side note. It's a crucial stage in the process. First comes the deception, false doctrines, spiritual laziness, emotional distractions. Then, the love of many grows cold, not overnight, but gradually. This leads to division. Those who are truly watchful and walking in the Spirit are separated from those who were merely religious spectators. And finally, the rapture. That's the divine sequence. That's the structure we've been missing. And here's the real transformation. Once you see this key, your entire lens changes. You stop interpreting events through fear or emotional hype, and instead see them through spiritual alignment. You begin asking, where are we in this sequence? Rather than, is this the final trumpet? It brings focus, urgency, and peace all at once. You realize that the signs aren't just random. They're moving along a divine timeline that Jesus already mapped out. And when things in the world look chaotic, your heart remains stable, because you're anchored in the order he established, not in human guesswork. This key repositions everything. It reminds us that God is not the author of confusion, and his Son didn't leave us a mess to figure out. He left us a message, one with structure, precision, and purpose. The goal isn't to become obsessed with dates or events. The goal is to discern the flow, so we're not caught off guard. And the truth is, when you match this key to what's happening right now, it's hard to deny. The timeline isn't just unfolding, it's advancing fast. Which brings us to the next crucial question. Where exactly are we right now? If the key Jesus gave truly unlocks the timeline of the end, then we must ask, where are we now within that divine sequence? Look around. The deception is no longer subtle, it's mainstream. Churches preach comfort over conviction. Doctrines are diluted to fit culture. Spiritual apathy spreads faster than wildfire. People are more entertained than transformed. That first stage, deception, has already taken root deeply. And when deception is normalized, the next stage inevitably follows: the cooling of love. Not just love for others, but love for truth, holiness, and God himself. You see it in how believers live. There's less hunger for prayer, less time in the Word, and more excuses to avoid fellowship or accountability. People aren't just busy, they're spiritually numb. Relationships grow colder, and faith becomes a formality. This is exactly what Jesus warned about. The love of many will grow cold. But if you've been paying attention, you'll also notice the next step already happening: separation. The Spirit is making a distinction between those who are awake and those who are spiritually asleep. It's not about denomination or attendance. It's about discernment and devotion. Right now, we're witnessing that division unfold. Those who once walked closely with God are drifting. Meanwhile, others, quiet, humble, often unnoticed, are burning with urgency, seeking holiness, walking in quiet obedience. That's the beginning of the separation Jesus spoke of. 2 will be in the field, 1 will be taken, the other left. It's happening not in the future, but right now, in the spiritual realm. And if you feel that tug in your soul, the urgency, the awakening, it's likely because you're sensing that the separation is already in motion. And here's the sobering truth. If deception, coldness, and separation are already active, then we are dangerously close to the final moment. Manifestation, the return of the bridegroom, which means this isn't just a theory, it's a warning, a wake-up call. If the key has already clicked into place, then the door is about to open. So the real question becomes, are you living as someone who knows the timeline, or someone who's actually aligned with it? Now comes the part that most avoid, the personal call. Knowing the timeline is one thing. Living in alignment with it, that's where the real separation happens. Jesus didn't give us this key just to impress our intellect. He gave it to awaken our hearts. If you've seen the signs, deception, spiritual coldness, separation, and you recognize where we are, then the next step isn't just observation, it's transformation. It's time to move from spectator to soldier, from listener to doer. This isn't about religious performance, it's about spiritual positioning. Are you living with oil in your lamp, like the wise virgins? Or have you let your fire go out, assuming there's still time to get it together? The call now is clear. Repent, consecrate, and watch. That means turning off the noise, shutting down distractions, and returning to the secret place. Pray daily, fast regularly, open the Word and let it read you. Join with believers who are burning, not just attending. Because here's the truth. This isn't about fear, it's about urgency. The door is still open, but the bridegroom is approaching. What you do now determines which side of that door you'll be on. Are you preparing your heart or pacifying your flesh? Are you walking in holiness or hiding behind grace as an excuse for compromise? These aren't harsh questions, they're heavenly invitations, and only those who respond now will be ready then. So pause for a moment. Ask yourself, have I ignored the key, or have I truly allowed it to change the way I live? This isn't just a teaching, it's a summons, a divine interruption in your routine, a reminder that you were born for this moment, not to blend in, but to burn bright. And if you respond to this call, something in your life will shift. Because Jesus doesn't just give keys for information, He gives them to unlock destinies. Jesus already gave the key to the Rapture timeline, but most still ignore it. They study signs, debate dates, and follow headlines, yet overlook the simple, powerful sequence He laid out: vigilance, separation, manifestation. And that mistake, it's not just theological, it's eternal. Because those who miss the key won't just be confused, they'll be unprepared. So now the question falls in your lap. Are you living like someone who has the key? Have you allowed it to reshape your priorities, your habits, your heart? Or are you still waiting for some louder, flashier sign, while the timeline keeps unfolding right in front of you? Type in the comments right now, "I have the key," if you refuse to ignore what Jesus revealed. Let it be a public mark of your decision to stay awake, stay ready, and stay aligned with heaven's order. And if this message stirred something in your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs this wake-up call. And hey, this is just the beginning. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and get ready for the next part. If the key has already